flat stem seal. This kind of seal can be worn around one's neck or be suspended from the waist. And the Mesopotamia seals are always used to signify humans' high social position. And when individuals die, their families bury them with their seals in order to help them to carry into the afterlife. And the usual function of the seals are to record documents or to protect the storage jars or drawers from temperature. And now I'm gonna introduce the seals. And as you can see, it is from a tomb called Pulebi and from Royal Cemetery and from ancient Mesopotamia. And this cylinder seal is divided into two horizontal sections. And in the upper section and in the lower section, they almost have the similar images. And in each section, we can see two humans in larger size sitting and drinking from their beakers, at the same time served by some servants around them. And the only difference between them are in the upper section, there's a woman and a man, and the woman may be Pulebi herself. In these art pieces, the artist uses hierarchy scales to separate the figures' social position, and those four figures are much larger than the size of other servants. And this kind of way to represent is very common in Mesopotamia. As we can see in another example of standard of UR, this is the P side of standard of UR. And the upper section is also about a banquet. And the king in this section is much larger and also uses a hierarchy scale. And in these art pieces, there's also another common feature of compositional rule, which called twisted perspective. And we can see humans sitting there with their large frontal eyes in the profile. And it is also used in this one. And we can see all the humans in profile, but with the frontal large eyes. And almost 1,000 years later, in ancient Egypt, there's also another extraordinary art pieces about a banquet called Musicians and Dancers. The ancient Egypt, since both of the art pieces are from the tombs, so they must share some similarities. And these pieces also have the mural functions. Since ancient Egypt, they also believe the afterlife. So when the Nabana died, his family buried him in his tomb and might have to come back one day each year to participate in a commemorative feast to commune with the dead. So this art pieces maybe represent one feast when his relatives come to his tomb to celebrate this kind of process. And like the Mesopotamian seal, this one is also divided into two horizontal sections. And in the upper sections, we can see some people sitting there and almost facing the same direction. And there's a man and a woman sitting there holding their arms together and served by a servant. And they are obviously the protagonists. And in the lower section, there's four women on the right, on the left side, and those two are presented conventionally, and these two are in frontal view, and one is clapping hands and one is playing a reed. And besides them, there are two nude women dancing together, and on this side, there's some women sitting there. And different from the upper side, their feet are crossed, and well developed. And similar with the Mesopotamian style, they also has hierarchy skills. We can see the relatives and the main characters. They have the larger size than the dancing woman and the servant, and also the intrinsic perspective, which has the frontal large eyes in the profile scale. And yeah, but although they have lots of similarities between the Mesopotamian cylinder seal and this fresco from ancient Egypt, New Kingdom, they also have lots of difference. They're not only different in the medium. One is a cylinder which is carved, and one is a fresco which is painted, but also in the styles. We can clearly see that this kind of pieces is much more delicate, while the cylinder is much more simple. And in conclusion, although those two pieces are from different regions and different periods, they are both show the ancient human beings' opinion towards death. So if we think it further, we can see that although from thousands of years ago, people have already started to use arts as a medium to represent their ideas of philosophy, which continues until today.
Any questions?